Hey folks, Jimmy here, aka Palette of the Dead. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to the last in our series of getting started with the Age of Sigmar videos. As per usual though, if you like these videos, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and of course, drop a comment down below. Love hearing back from you guys. It goes a massive way to helping out the channel too. Now, as I say, this is our last look at any of the armies for the Age of Sigmar and how to get started with them. So, obviously, with all the other videos, we are utilising a budget of £200. Obviously, I'm not spending £200 for every army within the Age of Sigmar because, yeah, I don't feel like I need that much debt in my life right now. So, we're going to do this all theoretical. So, the idea with this is we look at the prices at Warhammer.com and prices on a third-party retailer. The third-party retailer I have chosen is Element Games, but as this is not an ad, you can always go with any of a great number of third-party retailers out there, such as Wayland Games, Goblin Gaming, Leodis Games, and such like. So it's worth shopping around, finding who's best for you. It's always worth having a look, see if they've got a loyalty scheme, or who's closest to you, and you can go in and say hello and all that good stuff. And yeah, save yourself some money, hopefully. So why not? Now, this is the last video, as I say, so we only have two more armies to look at, and they are from the Forces of Death. So, these are two armies I personally really like, and they look really good. Now, one of them, depending on how you paint them, there's not really a lot of detail to them. They're fairly basic, which is our ghostly friends, the Nighthaunt. So if you were collected Mortal Realms magazine, you'll be used to these guys. You had loads of them with that, and the vast majority of them are in this, in all honesty. So they're pretty good, pretty different, but yeah, there's not a lot else to them. So it's up to you if you wanted to go for them. So, firstly, obviously we start off with Vanguard box. It gives us the Knight of Shrouds, but not the mounted version, the foot version. You get 10 of the scythe-wielding Grimghast Reapers. We get 2 units of 10 Chain Rasps, and then we get 3 Spirit Hosts as well. It's a pretty decent box for the bog standard rate of £85 or £72.25 from most third-party retailers. So it's a good start. It's not too bad. It's not the end of the world. It's just a good start all round. I then would be adding in another hero unit, and this one is probably the most fantastic of the ghosts, Lady Alienda, the Mortarch of Grief. I love this mini. She's a badass. She looks fantastic. It's a really good kit, and she is a Mortarch as well. So she is the Mortarch of Grief. Mortarchs are good old Nagash's lieutenants, really, within his faction. So there are several of them: Arcand Black, good old Neferata, Manfred von Karstein. Then you've got Lady Alienda. You've got a couple of others as well. So you've got the Mortarch of Craziness or Insanity or whatever his name, Ushiran, the new Flesh Eater, and a few others. So, you get one of his lieutenants, and she's fairly decently priced as well. Then I would add in another box of Chain Rasps. So these are easy build minis. In all honesty, they are very easy to build and very easy to paint because they're ghosts, so there's not really a lot to them. So, spray them white, couple of shades, done, and you can have a bit of fun with it. Anyway, that's all really good. Now, I would also add in a box of the Dread Scythe Harridans. Considering the lore of AOS, considering these are supposed to be healers that were then gifted the Harridan curse by Nagash, because, he's lovely and benevolent, yeah, they're not going to use their healing hands anymore, are they, from the looks of it? And then, in all honesty, lastly, I would be adding in a box of the Dreadblade Harrows. So, 2 minis, they work independently, so they count as 2 units. They are quick build, which isn't always a bad thing. They have nice sculpted bases, so they're not too bad. I do quite like these ones. So yeah, I'll definitely add some of these, in my opinion. Now, in all honesty, this army is pretty good. It comes in at £194.50 from GW, about £169 from a third-party retailer. It's a 1200 point army as well, so it gives you some change, gives you some more options to expand. Considering it's an army containing one of Nagash's Mortarks, in all honesty, it's a lowish points value and also a lowest cost value as well. So you could definitely bulk out this army to give it a bit more oomph if you really, really wish to. Then this is actually going to bring us to our very, very final faction, and in all honesty, one of the ones I collect, and that is the Soulblight Gravelords. Not that I've painted or built half of them, but anyway, Soulblight Gravelords, they're very, very nice. For vampiric hordes of immortal realms, they're a fairly recent addition, and they have different sub-factions, so depending on which way you want to go. Now, the idea with this list is we are going to go down the most bog standard route, so the most generic route you can add to it depending on how you want to go about doing it. So you can go down the different dynasties, whether you want to go down the Virkos or the good old any of the other dynasties. I can't remember what half of them are called now, but you've got some really, really good ones. So firstly, I would be taking obviously the Vanguard box, because you get a Vampire Lord. It's a fairly generic vampire that can fit into most sub-factions. We get 3 Vargeists, which also make appearances in the Flesh Eater Courts. We get 5 Blood Knights as well, which are the newer versions of the Blood Knights as well, which are really, really cool. And then lastly, we get 20 of those newer Death Rattle Skeletons, because there's no point in having an undead army when you don't have skeletons, in all honesty, is there? Then, I'm not going to lie, I would be taking in 2 heroes, just for the fun of it. Firstly, I will take Lady Annika, mostly because it's a great looking vampire mini, but also because she has some pretty unique abilities. And then secondly, I will take in a White King. Now, the White King is a slightly older sculpt, but it's very, very, very nice. It's a nice looking mini. I have one. Genuinely, I love painting it. It was a really, really good mini to paint. It was really, really good fun. So yeah, I'll definitely take one of these guys. If not, get yourself a Necromancer, because they're equally as kind of unique and cool looking. Right, that being said, you're going to need some more of the kind of your standard fodder for this type of army. Now, the way the Soulblight Gravelords can work is you can utilise them as kind of a more horde style army. So, for instance, I will take it in a box of Deadwalker zombies, because thankfully they've replaced the original zombie sculpt, but there's loads of them. The idea is, if you're going to go full vampire, get yourself loads of Deadwalker zombies and just churn them out, and then, you know, you've got loads of zombies, because, you know, who doesn't want horror without zombies, in all honesty. Then, lastly, I will take in a box of direwolves. Now, the idea with these is they are undead wolves. They're good for being a bit of a pain in the backside, so you can just run them into the sides of your opponents a little bit faster, and just use them to be an absolute annoyance and kind of clog up armies. Yeah, they're pretty good. I genuinely do like them. You could utilise Fellbats if you wanted to, but they don't do quite as much. So, if you were going to get this army, this is probably one of the cheapest ones from GW, so £189.50, or if you go to a third party retail, £164 for a 1260 point army is pretty good. You can also utilise this army list as a basis to move into any of the other vampiric dynasties, whether you want the Virkos or any of the others. You can kind of focus down different trees. So if you want to go more monsters, then you're going to get Laukavei or the Vengorian lords and such like. If you're going to want to go for more kind of like the beasts, then you, oh no, if you want Radakar the Beast or anyone like that, then you can go down that Virkos bloodline and you have more of wolves and such like, and that kind of bigger hulking style to it, which is pretty damn cool at the same time. So your choice, but you have plenty of options with the good old Soulblight Gravelords, depending on which way you want to go. Now, with all of that said, that is it. So we have now checked out every army from the Age of Sigmar. So, you have plenty of options to choose from. It all depends on the type of army you want. Because you do have the Horde armies. You have your Gloomspite Gits, Beasts of Chaos, good old Skaven and such like. You could go down them. If you want more specialised armies, then you may want to go down the route of the Stormcast Eternals or Lumineth Realm Lords or something like that, because you can specialise into, say, just magical units, combating magical units, or range and such like. It's your choice at the end of the day, but there is no right or wrong answer to it. It is only the way you play and the way you build up that army list. So whatever you do, don't go full bore into heroes, because yeah, they may be tough, but you don't get the unit count, so you're not going to be attacking as often, and your opponent may have tons and tons of wrecking, for instance. So, you know, it's a way of doing it. As I say though, your choice, no wrong answer, just have fun with it. No matter what, you can enjoy yourself. But with all that said, thank you very, very much for watching. I'll catch you sometime soon. Drop a comment down below as per usual, and we'll delve into some different bits and pieces at some point in the near future. I'm absolutely sure I'm trying to have some more discussions about stuff, but for now, thank you very much for watching. Catch you next time. Bye bye.